100 nights, no rest, no break. Dreams on my mind, but my hands still ache. Bands in the safe, cash on the low. Build it from the ground, watch the empire grow. Empty fridge, now the table stacked. Used to pray for change, now I'm counting racks. The grind don't stop, no pause, no wait. Bands in the safe.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you lasted well in the markets today. We had a bit of a better day today, although I ended up having a very interesting problem, which I'm going to explain and show you all about. I've also made an update to the indicator, and I've pushed that out already, and I've had to make some changes. So if we go on over, let's go look at the results. Firstly, I'll explain why. So yesterday I decided to introduce the overnight indicator. So it's the funded settings, the unleashed eval settings, and the overnight settings. Well, I've thought about it. I'm splitting up the overnight into Asia and London because the unleashed is basically New York. So we've got all three major sessions. And I had a theory because I've been watching it. I've had it running overnight for ages. And I often, in the mornings, because I'm in the UK, I'll often load it up at the start of London towards the end of Asia. And Asia often does really well, and London sucks ass. And today is like the perfect example of that. If you look at these numbers down here, right? Asia did really well. Took a couple of losses, but it made $3,000 overnight, right? London gave it all back. And this is not the first time I've seen exactly that happen. There's something about London where it just kind of sucks. So I'm keen to see if this continues. And this is just observation and experiment that we're going to watch for now on. I've added it into the results so we can kind of just see what happens throughout all of May. Just see if London does suck wet balls and if Asia actually is pretty good, because I've seen Asia do some real good numbers for quite a while. So I'm wondering if Asia and New York are the plays here. So we'll keep an eye on those. I've also made a few other small refinements to the actual times of the New York versions. So unleashed and funded. If I go into unleashed real quick, I've pulled back the timing ever so slightly. So we're forcing close at 4 o'clock now because some prop firms don't let you go as long as I was having it. And also something I say about this, it's a volume-backed breakout strategy, right? Well, look what happens when you get to 4 o'clock. The volume just dies off and disappears. And if you get moves, I thought about this about 3 o'clock. And I thought, why am I trading this time? Like, why do I go past 4 o'clock? I would never do that myself. Why am I doing it with an automated system? And then we ended up running up, got to 4 o'clock, and the volume died off and it pulled back and just chopped around. And on the old settings, it actually took a loss here. So I was like, yeah, forget this. Why am I doing this? So I've been thinking about it for a little while, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do that because it doesn't make sense. So Unleashed goes up until 4 o'clock. It stops placing trades up until 3:45. So we miss the MOC candles, which is at 5 to 4 and 10 to 4, which is market on close. Whereas like these spikes of volume, these are the derivatives markets closing out those days' trades. And it sometimes doesn't do much like this. And sometimes it absolutely sends it in one direction or the other, and you never really know. It's a bit of a gamble. I was like, well, why am I bothering with that? So we're not going to. So I've pushed out an update that has those updated. And the other update I've done is actually a similar idea, but for a different reason, with the funded. The funded is now going to run for just 2 hours, and it's going to go to 11:30, and I'm going to monitor this and see if I like it or not. Reason being, if you see how I've got my cycles indicator, these big squares that hopefully you can see on the chart there. These are, so this cycles indicator, it does a whole bunch of stuff, but it maps out key timing cycles. It's time-based liquidity, and it goes all the way down to the 3-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, and 90-minute, and the 90-minute is what I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But it also does things like your Asia, London, 15-minute orb, previous day, week, high, month, quarter, year, as well as midnight open, New York open, weekly open, quarterly open, all that stuff, right? This indicator is, I always have it kind of just there ready. But I've got the 90-minute cycles enabled here. I realized, and I hadn't thought about this until today, when I was just kind of reviewing the times, the funded settings that we have going on here, I had them going until 12:30, which is over the New York lunchtime, and there's a volume drop off around 12:30. I was like, for the exact same reason I don't want to trade into the end of the day, I don't want to trade into London into New York lunchtime. And the 90-minute cycle in the day, so we get 9:30 open, then that cycle ends at 10. The 10 to 11:30 cycle is here, and then it goes back into accumulation. And we were stopping kind of like a third of the way into the accumulation cycle, 90-minute cycle. I was like, I'm doing the same thing here. This doesn't make sense, because these 90-minute cycles often reverse. So I don't want to get caught in those, and I wouldn't be surprised if we've actually taken a few losses where we didn't need to in the past. And in fact, actually today's a really, really good example. Here, 90-minute sweep, reversal. 90-minute sweep, reversal. 90-minute sweep, reversal. And it's also, if you know AMD, which is accumulation. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So 90-minute, 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 right? 90 minutes are great. I really, really like monitoring just the 90-minute cycles. And I've decided to align the funded account. Basically, it starts towards the end of the manipulation with market open, and then we go into the distribution. So the idea is it will only trade the tail end of manipulation and only the New York AM distribution cycle, and then it will stop. And I think that's just going to be a better idea. I will monitor it. I'll see. This is open for refinement. But I think that's just going to be a good idea. And today was a perfect example, right? So we had sweep, reversal, sweep, reversal, sweep, reversal. The 90 minutes are worth watching for this reason. Look, sweep, reversal, sweep of here, reversed. Right, it happens quite a lot. 90-minute cycles are incredibly underutilized, in my opinion. Not many people know about them, I don't think. And you had the perfect, let's see, where's my thing gone? Here. Accumulation, right? Manipulation, sweeps both sides, and then it distributes. And we're going into a daily cycle low over the next week and a half. So being a short day makes perfect sense to me. So anyway, that's the results. And we didn't do too badly, actually. Just 1,500 on the funded. 6 trades. They were pretty small, like all the trades today. There was only one actual good trade, like big trade, and that was over here. This little breakout was the only actual breakout that was caught today. All of the trades were little small couple $100 here and there. And we did take a couple losses. There was a loss in there and there was a loss in here. And it really kind of sucks actually, because there was a short that got missed there. There was a short that got missed there. There was a long that got missed here. And there were 3. In fact, you can see the last one there. There were 3 longs that got missed because the price didn't pull back for them. So there could have been some better trades, but price doesn't always respect your model. In fact, it rarely does. You have to really bust your ass for it. But overall, not a bad day, 17.55, perfect. Yeah, I'll take that happily. Asia did well as well, and the fundeds did well. London just a dead dog on the side of the road, unfortunately. But that's my expectations for London. I don't think London's ever going to be that good. If it gets the odd green day, I think it will be a bit of a fluke. But that leads me on to the next thing that I've run into the last couple of days. Actually, it was mostly today that I kind of clocked this. The automation stuff has been going super, super well. Cross trade has been working really well. There is, however, one limitation that I wish I could do that I can't, which is like not an emergency, but like a backup. Close this one trade, but leave all the others open. I can't actually do that. I did build a trade ID system, but it turns out that's not actually working as I intended. Cross-trade can only do that with ATM settings for some reason. It can't do it with actual trade positions. And I thought that's what I was doing, but it turns out I'm not. I'm just removing the ATM settings, which is the last thing I want to do. And I can't actually close individual trades. And that's a bit of a problem, because I really want to make sure I can do that. And keeping these things in sync has been a bit tricky. In fact, where is it? Here it is. This break even right here. This break even, it filled on NinjaTrader, and on TradingView, we just tapped the break even, but we didn't on NinjaTrader. So this pullback, the indicator is supposed to send like a backup, close this trade signal right here for this exact scenario. And it did send it, but cross-trade can't close an individual position. It removed the stop loss. I was like, oh shit, that's not what I want to do at all. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I was worried about. It's not handling the trade, it's handling just the ATM settings. And it was a really weird situation to be in, honestly. I don't quite understand why. I can't control just an individual trade, but apparently I can't. And this made me realize that I'm at that point where I'm just going to be chasing my tail now. Because I was looking into ways that I could get this to make sure that the trade was closed and it would close other trades alongside it, which I don't want to do. And all sorts of stuff. Anyway, cut a long story short, I have started the NinjaTrader Direct clone of this because I'm very happy with this current version of it. And I've basically started the version that's going to go directly into NinjaTrader, because this whole system, the automation, the indicator sending a signal out to CrossTrade and CrossTrade sending it to NinjaTrader and NinjaTrader placing the actual trade, that's all well and good and it's been working for the most part. But it's going to be much cleaner, simpler and easier to just have this system loaded directly on NinjaTrader and NinjaTrader just place the trades directly then and there. None of this sending webhooks here and delays there, and you won't need the premium version of TradingView. You won't need cross-trade subscription. So it's going to cost everyone who's involved. It's going to save you about at least $100, maybe more. Probably closer to 140, 130, 140 bucks a month to not have those extra steps. And I'll just go straight to the source. Just go straight to NinjaTrader. You load the prop firm or whatever account you're trading on directly on there, and it trades for you then and there. And it's very easy to add a humanizer, so it's a slight delay, so it doesn't look robotic. That's it. That's all you need. So I've started it, and that's going to be my priority moving forward, because I'm just going to be chasing my tail otherwise. It's good though that the system here, it's all working very well. It's just there's going to be some limitations in keeping TradingView and keeping NinjaTrader in sync with each other, because the information only goes one way. TradingView can't see what's going on with the account or with NinjaTrader, so trying to do that one way I've kind of run into the limitations of it. Not only that, I've actually run into a TradingView limitation as well. I've run out of space in the indicator. It's got so much stuff going on in the background that this is probably like the ins and outs of TradingView indicators. Most people probably don't know this, but TradingView, how do I explain this? Every action that an indicator does, they call it like a token, and it stacks. And you can have up to 100,000 tokens per indicator. Well, I've hit the 100,000 limit. So I've run into this before on other indicators. It's very difficult to move forward with changes, little bug fixes, little updates here and there. And the short version is I've had to remove some things. So you'll notice that the delta display information has gone. It's still there in the back end of the indicator because it's used. It's just not being displayed on the chart anymore. It's no longer in the dashboard. There's no delta for the New York session. There's no current candle delta stuff, which, yeah, it was useful, but it's not needed at all. So I had to sacrifice that to kind of do some updates today. And it's just another thing where twice in one day I've run into a limitation with TradingView, and I'm like, yeah, it's time to go to NinjaTrader directly. And it's going to be part of this system for free. It's not going to be an add-on. I think it's going to have to be part of the lifetime access because of the way NinjaTrader works. I don't think I can do a monthly sub thing there. If I can, I'll figure it out because I prefer to have both options. But yeah, it's going to be part of this as just like a free of charge add-on, essentially. It's not going to go up in price or anything. And you'll get it. Especially if you've already got the system, you'll get the NinjaTrader thing when it's ready, which I'm working on now. So big things coming. This was the plan for May anyway, and I think, well, I've pretty much done everything I can do in TradingView now. We're running into limitations, so NinjaTrader time. So pretty exciting stuff, actually. I'm looking forward to it. I've done quite a lot of it already. I've already got a working version that I'm just going to test tomorrow and in live markets. So moving forward, we got new refined settings for our dashboards, and we're going to do some experiments over the rest of May, see how the Asia and London sessions do. I wouldn't be surprised if Asia ends up being worth a session that's worth trading. London, forget about, and we can carry on with these settings as they are now throughout New York. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how this ends up. And The orb did pretty well today as well. The dual orb system, which is like another one that I'm working on, might go a little bit of a backseat because I'm going to work on Delta Breaks. I think it's the more important one. But yeah, made $3,000 today. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And yeah, that's it really. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you this, and hopefully, yeah, you can see my mouse this time, so I can actually point to you at what I'm talking about, and I'll show you the changes I've made. Okay, so May results. We started with the old version on May the 1st, and we made 1,500, which is pretty good for the old system. That was pretty much on par. Bank holiday, and then I found the historical bug, the historical data bug with TradingView. A TradingView limitation caused this outage for a couple of days. We then got the new system as it currently is, minus a few small tweaks and updates here and there. Funded did really well, Unleashed did amazingly well 2 days straight. Then we had a red day yesterday, which, okay, is what it is. Funded did pretty well, all things considered. Unleashed, pretty heavy on the losses, I'll admit. This is probably might end up turning the whole system down risk-wise, which is not a bad thing. You know, if we can get these sort of results, if we can kind of go back to aiming for these sort of results with this version of the indicator, we'll be able to cut the risk in half and still come out with the same results. That's phenomenal. So looking at that, going to watch it for the next week or two and just kind of go, wouldn't be surprised if we end up doing that. And now I've added Asia and London. So yesterday we had Asia do 63, nearly 6,400, and London did make some money, but ended up giving it all back because London sucks. And similar today, smaller numbers on the wins on Asia, and look at London just wet the bed today. But the New York sessions, Funded and Unleashed, did pretty well. Unleashed was up to 3K at one point, but we took that loss towards the end of the day. But, you know, win's a win, and it's not a bad win at all. This is on par with an excellent day on the old system barely 2 weeks ago, right? So overall, we've done very well. And I've also added some extra details in over here. You can see the actual times for the Funded session. It's 2 hours now, and it's got a 2,500 cap. The Unleashed is New York AM and PM, and it goes through to 4 o'clock with no limits. And that's when it cuts off at 4 because we have that volume drop off at 4 o'clock every single day. So there's no point trading after that. It's like, what's the point? And of course, we'll have it down here at the bottom just for the sake of keeping an eye on it for the next, couple of weeks, couple of months. We'll watch Asia. We'll watch London. Hopefully, Asia continues because it's done really well so far. There's just something about Asia. It just seems to be really clean price action without London getting in there and fucking it up. But there we go. That's the update for today. Big moves are coming. I'm working on the NinjaTrader. That's the next thing. Hopefully it won't take me all that long because I'm doing just a port of a pre-existing system. I've pretty much, it's super easy to just go to, I've basically just gone to ChatGPT and gone, hey, look, here's the plan. Here's my thing. Do this. And just like that, 80% of the work is done. And the remaining 20% is just for me to go through and just fine tune and pick apart and make sure it's all working like I want to. So I'm a lot of the way through it already. Advantages of the AI revolution and all that crap. But yeah, so hopefully it won't be too long before everyone involved with the Delta Break system is just going to get a free standalone version of it specifically for NinjaTrader, and you won't have to get the TradingView update to go to premium. You won't have to get cross trade. You can if you want to. You'll get this version of it on TradingView. But yeah, that's it from me. Without anything else to say really. That was Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. We'll see how we go. We are heading into the end of May. We are heading into the daily cycle low. The daily cycles come along every 2 months, and they tend to be liquidity stop runs. So if the system kind of struggles a little bit over the coming weeks, I'm not going to fret too much about it. I'm curious to see what happens throughout May, and I wouldn't be surprised if May does really well, regardless. So. I mean, we're already in, 5 trading days. We've already done what half of all of April did. So, yeah, the new system seems to be pretty awesome. But yeah, that's it from me, folks. Hope you have a good one. I will catch you tomorrow with tomorrow's update. Take care.
Yeah. Now it's home like a battle cry. Circuit spark underneath